Hot edition on 3FM 92.7. This bulletin is live from our studio here at Adisawe Kanda in Accra and also live around the world on 3news.com. My name is Martin Asiedu Date. Coming up this evening, Dabgon mourns the passing of its overlord, Na Mahama Abukari II. We will be live on the grounds in the kingdom for details of how the indigenes of Dabgon are mourning the passing of the overlord and what the plans are. We are told that he's already been laid to rest. We'll try and get further details on that particular development for you in a moment. Also coming up, the New Patriotic Party Flagbearer's Director of Communications Miracles, Denis Aboagye, currently under interrogation within the dark walls of EOCO as hundreds of party faithfuls gather at the EOCO premises asking for his release. We'll take you there live on the ground for the hot take. And later, we'll also take a look at Sunday's constituency level elections that was organized by the New Patriotic Party around the country. There were reports that in certain parts of the country, the elections turned violent and some arrests were also made in relation to the constituency level elections of the New Patriotic Party. What exactly led to these arrests and how can we forestall or prevent some of these things from recurring now that we are gearing into the two main parties getting ready for their constituency level elections? Then we're going to be having the regional and national elections. All of that on the table for discussions later as the show wears on. We are live around the country on 3news.com. That's our website where we are streaming. We're also live on Facebook and on YouTube. So let's know what you think of the many stories we have for you this evening. This is Hot Edition on 92.7. We are starting from the northern part of the country where the Dabgon kingdom has been thrown into a state of mourning following the death of its overlord, Na Abukari II. The announcement was made earlier today by the head of the Dabgon Kingmakers, Kuga Na Adam Abudlai II, after the traditional walk-talking drum was sounded and the required customary rites were performed at the Gbewa Palace in Yendi. The third day prayers of Ndaya Na Abukari II, the late king of Dabgon, would be observed on Thursday, the 16th of July in the Gbewa Palace as preparations are underway for the burial of the late king. Sources say Na Abukari II passed away in South Africa, where he had traveled for medical treatment after a short illness. The late overlord was enskinned in January 2019 following the successful implementation of the roadmap that ended the long-running Dabgon chieftaincy dispute and restored peace to the kingdom. Let's speak now to Christopher Mwako, who is our northern regional correspondent, northern and Savannah regional correspondent for the latest regarding this development. Christopher, good evening to you. Thank you for your time. First of all, how is Yendi and the northern region following the announcement of the passing of the overlord of Dabgon?
Yes, so Martin, it's a sad day for the good people of Dabgon. Sad because one of the peace-loving kings in Ghana, that is the Yana, unfortunately passed. So the people of Dabgon are grieving, mourning, and also in a state of shock. Right now in Yendi, all we see is that some customary rites that are supposed to go on following the passing of Yana are currently going on in Tamale, which is the regional capital, even though no activity is taking place, but the sadness, the shock is experienced in Tamale as well. And so it's a sad day for the good people of Dabgon and northern Ghana at large.
And we are told that across the town, not just where the palace is, but across many adjoining towns as well, news has spread about the passing of the overlord, and the mood is very low. Can you confirm that?
Yeah, it is very low because, you know, the Yana is revered in Dabgon. not only Dabgon, like across the northern area. And so if you look at Yendi and other adjoining communities into Nanu and other areas, it is very it's a sad moment for them, even though you see some people going about their business, but it is not as it should be on a normal business day.
And so what were the initial thoughts people shared when they heard that the overlord had passed? Because what we are picking up is that some people expressed utter shock and dismay, and although the date of his passing was not immediately known, the fact that he had joined the ancestors, drew quite some shock from within the citizens. What were the initial thoughts? What are some of the things they've been saying about the overlord?
Yes, so Martin, the overlord was a peace-loving person. In fact, he has actually consolidated the peace of Dabgon. Now, in time past, you see that some communities in Dabgon used to experience chieftaincy dispute. Since the assumption of office, since he ascended the kings of Dabgon, some of these pockets of conflicts have been resolved, including territorial conflicts with other ethnic groups. And so he's seen as a peace-loving person. You remember that historic visit of the Yana to the overlord of the Gonja kingdom, the Yagbonra, and the return of that visit. You also remember that you also remember the Bewa Palace, new Bewa Palace project, which the Yana started. In fact, I must say that people are not really happy that he's not moved into the palace before passing, because just last week we heard that he could move into the palace, but unfortunately he passed, so he did not live to enjoy the new palace. In fact, a modern palace that he's put up. Now, the other issue has to do with the fact that the people are grieving, especially because the Yana is someone that they could go to. The Yana is someone that they could talk to. The Yana is someone that they believe they could run to. And since his reign, they've been able to access the Yana. And so their grieving is that right now he's no more. He's been a father to them. He's been a grandfather. And even though they are hoping that the new Yana will also be a peace-loving person, but they believe that his reign, even though short, but has been unmatched.
And another issue that has been on the minds of many has to do with the fact that it was before he became the Yana, Dabgon had experienced some disquiet and grievances and communal or chieftaincy dispute that had reigned for some time. So we are told that it was him ascending the skin that sort of brought some peace to the area. Talk to us about a bit of history of what exactly, how he became the Yana and the instability that preceded his ascension.
Yes, so Martin, before the Yana ascended the Yendi king, he was the Yona. And when we say Yona, we are talking about one of the gates, that the entry gate to the Yendi king, that is the Savlugu chief. And so from Yo, we also have Mion. From Mion, we have Karaga. And so since he became the Sabluguna or the Yona, he's been able to resolve all conflicts within the Yo traditional area. And so when he was nominated as the new Yana and king in January 2029, the people were already happy because during his reign in Savulugu, he brought Dabgon together. And so since he ascended the Dabgon's king, I can confirm to you that areas that we used to have, chieftaincy disputes, land and territorial disputes have almost all been resolved. He's become a household name in Dabgon, especially so when cases of chieftaincy disputes are sent to him. He takes his time with his cabinet to resolve these matters. And so that is why in recent past, since he ascended the Dabgon skins. We've not heard the pockets of chieftaincy conflict that used to be the order of the day in the northern region. And so the Yana is someone who is touted as a peace-loving person, though unfortunately he did not live long on the skins of Dabgon, but the people are sharing good testimonies about him. But I must say that his entry point to the Yendi skin was from Savulugu, which is the Yu traditional skin. And so right now, his path, we have 3 gates that ascend the Yendi skin. And so one gate has just gone out. So we are waiting for the kingmakers after the funeral of Yana to decide which of the gates will hold the mantle next.
Right. Now, we also know that some schools have closed. We told that some people didn't even have the strength to even go and open their shops. What exactly is the story around that?
Yeah, so per custom and traditions, when the Yana passes, it means that the entire Dabgon is grieving. And so if you visited Yendi today, you realize that the business area or where people go to do business, almost all the shops were closed, unless those that are far away from the Bewa Palace. In fact, I must also say that it's because there wasn't any formal announcement from the palace that all shops be closed. That is why some of the people opened. But others, they didn't actually open in full. If you come and you need something, they go open, sell to you, and close again. That was what happened in Yendi earlier today. But as for the schools, the Yendi Municipal Education Directorate, in consultation with the Northern Regional Directorate, in line with Dabgon Custom, announced the temporary closure of all schools within the Yendi municipality following the passing of the overlord of Dabgon, Na Mahama Abukari II. So this is a statement that has just come in. So it means that from tomorrow, these school children will not go to school until Thursday, July 16th. Now, let's also not forget that they will get back to school on 17th of July, which is Friday. The 3rd day Adua or funeral of the late Yana will be on the 16th. And so immediately after the 3rd day Adua is performed, the next day schools will be reopened for the school children to go to school.
Right. And Chris, thank you for that particular update. We wanted clarity on reports about the schools closing. So at least schools will be closed for about 2 to 3 days, and then on the 17th they will reopen. Is that the case?
Yes, that is the case. And this is only for schools in the Yendi
catchment area. Okay.
Not the entirety of Northern Region. No, it's just for schools in Yendi to allow for the 3rd day Adua or funeral of the late Yana.
Right, and then talking about funeral arrangements, you touched on it briefly. We are told that the remains of the overlord has been laid to rest already in line with Islam customs. Can you confirm that, and then maybe walk us through again what the next days look like?
Yes, so Martin, according to Dabgon custom, once the Yana is no more, his eldest son or none of his children can see the body until the person is enkinned as a regent or is given a chieftaincy title. And so the firstborn earlier today, midnight or so, was enskinned the Kampakuyana. So you have 2 names to choose from, Kampakuyana or Bongana. And so he chose Kampakuyana Yakubu Abukari. And so after he was enskinned, he was allowed to now see the remains of his father. Now, after seeing the remains of his father, they now went ahead with the burial ceremony. And so I can confirm to you that the late Yana Abukari II, the 41st Yana of Dabgon, has since been laid to rest. And a regent, who is his firstborn son, has also been enskinned. And from now till a substantive Yana is nominated and skinned, the regent becomes the overlord of Dabgon. He will oversee the day-to-day activities of Dabgon. And so if it is taking 3 months for the funeral to be performed, it means from now till the 3 months, the regent is the overlord of Dabgon and will be accorded all the necessary protocols as will be given to a Yana or a living Yana.
Chris, thank you so much for a bit of a history that you've given us, and then also the updates regarding the passing of the overlord of Dabgon, Na Mahama Abukari II. And Christopher Mwako is our Savannah Northern Regional Correspondent, updating us on the news that broke earlier today about the death of the overlord of Dabgon, Na Mahama Abukari II. We are told that he passed after a short illness. He was receiving treatment in South Africa and passed away there. So his body has been brought back to the Republic and sent to his area of chiefdom, and then he's been laid to rest according to Dabgon customs. And like you heard our correspondent say, his first son, has been enskinned, and following the eskinment, he was now allowed to see the body of his father, who has now been laid to rest. And so his son, who now becomes the Kampakuyana, will be the acting or the regent, as you call it, the regent Dabgon king for some time. He will be accorded all the necessary courtesies of a Dabgon king, and then also after that, the elders and opinion leaders and those in authority will finally decide to pick someone who now becomes the substantive overlord of Dabgon. And trust us to update you as the days wear on. Meanwhile, the confirmation of his passing and the public announcement was also put on his social media. You know that for those of you on Twitter, I'm sure you know that the Kingdom of Dabgon, that's the handle. It's on Twitter, K Dabgon, and they have put out a post with a picture of the Yana, and I'm reading verbatim. It says, "The lion has fallen. Let every drum be hushed. Let every horn be silenced. Let the winds bear only lamentation. The Lion King has departed the realm of men. Let all sons and daughters of Dabgon mourn." And those were the words that accompany the picture of the Na Mahama Abukari II, the late king of Dabgon. In a moment, we'll bring you his profile. For those of you who may not know who exactly he is and the kind of weight he carried, following the fact that he was the Dabgon king, let's bring you the statement we are receiving from government. And you know that chieftaincy and politics play a very key role in managing or running our country. So the executive arm of the state, which is the current government, have had a very cordial relationship with the Dabgon Kingdom. And I mean, successive governments and governments past have had very cordial relations with chiefs and kings in many parts of our country. So upon hearing the news, the government has released a statement. I'm going to read it verbatim. It says, "The government of Ghana says it has received with profound sadness the news of the passing of His Majesty Na Mahama Abukari II. A statement issued by the Minister for Government Communications, Felix Kwache Ofosu, said that President Mahama extends his deepest condolence to the royal family, the people of Dabgon, and the entire nation during this period of immense grief. The statement said his unwavering commitment to unity, stability, and the welfare of his people created an enabling environment for development and strengthened the enduring partnership between the traditional authorities and the government in advancing progress across Dabgon and Ghana." And those are the extracts from the statement released from government about the passing of the Na Mahama II. So who exactly is he? And you recall our correspondent told us that before he became the overlord of Dabgon, there were clear chieftaincy disputes which had been fought for a number of years. And so before his ascension, there were interventions and mediations from government and other opinion leaders which brought calm and sanity to the area. And since then, we've had a very stable Dabgon. Who was he before he became Yana? Wisdom Safo of our research desk joins us in studio for a quick update of, in fact, a quick statement to let us know who Yana Abukari II was. Wisdom, thank you for your time. So
Martin,
walk us through who he was in terms of his life he lived on earth.
All right, Martin, before I go into his profile, today is a sad day for the people of Dabgon and the entire country and the people of Ghana as well. So let's jump in the profile of Yana Abukari II. So his name is Yana Abukari II. He's also known as the Yana Abukari Mahama II, and he is the overlord of Dabgon. His traditional seat is the Bewa Palace in Yendi, and he's the overlord of the Dabgon Kingdom, and his royal gate is the Andani royal family. So before the Yendi skin, he was known as Alhaji Abubakari Mahama. Before he became the Yana, he also served as the Yona, which is the paramount chief of Savelugu. So his position as Yona made him one of the key traditional figures eligible for the Yendi skin. And he was also known as a farmer and a respected traditional leader before his elevation to the throne. So let's look at his rise to the throne. And this all started, he was actually selected in January 2019. So if you look at the time frame, it's about 7 years. He has reigned for 7 years. So his selection followed the final funeral rites of the late Yana Yakubu Andani II. And his enslavement ended about 16 years of vacancy on the Yendi skin. I remember you were just mentioning some of the conflicts and the issues that were surrounding that skin.
The disputes.
Exactly. So the vacancy followed the 2002 Dabgon chieftaincy crisis and the killing of Yana Yakubu Andani II. So let's look at the historical importance of Yana Abukari II and his rise to the throne. So his rise was seen as a major step in restoring peace to Dabgon. He became the first Yana after years of division between the Abudu and the Andani royal gates. So his enslavement symbolized the return of traditional authority to Dabgon. And for many people, his reign marked a new chapter of healing and reconciliation. Let's look at his leadership and reign. Let's look at his leadership and reign. So his reign mainly focused on peace, unity, stability in the kingdom of Dabgon. He worked to strengthen traditional governance in Dabgon. Under his reign, the Dabgon Traditional Council adopted a new constitution to replace the old traditional governance framework. He also supported development efforts, including the redevelopment of the Bewa Palace. And we dive into the public role he played. Yana Abukari II also served as the president of the Northern Regional House of Chiefs, and in that role, he pledged to promote peaceful coexistence and harmony in the Northern region. He was also widely respected beyond Dabgon as a traditional leader who represented calm, unity, and reconciliation. He received several honors, including an honorary doctorate that was conferred upon him by the University of Development Studies in 2025. He was also honored in recognition of his leadership, his role in peace building, and his contribution to the unity in Dabgon. So if you're talking of his legacy, he'll be remembered as a king who restored dignity, authority to the Yendi skin after years of crisis. He came to the throne at a difficult time in Dabgon's history. His reign became a symbol of peace, reconciliation, and traditional renewal. So that's a hero we've lost. That's a great king.
Very important figure when it comes to chieftaincy in the country,
Yes.
and especially within that catchment area of the country, the northern part, where we have had, incessant issues of chieftaincy, disagreement, and disputes. It was good that for a long time, his reign has brought relative calm and peace. Even government acknowledgement of his contribution cannot go unnoticed. Thank you very much, Wisdom Safo, for the profile of the late Yana Abukari II. And we are staying on this subject now, and to find out and get some further details of what exactly it is that the people in that area have been feeling. We are told also by a correspondent that relative calm. I mean, of course, it wasn't that it was a chaotic situation. However, he says that the passing has led to some specific decisions being taken by an institution like the Ghana Education Service in there, where schools have closed up until the 17th of July. So we are staying on the subject matter. Let's go to the phone lines now. And the PRO for the Gukpe Na Palace, who is the chief of Tamale, a bit of history on the passing of the Dabgon overlord, and then exactly what the next steps are regarding when such a high-profile personality passes. A very good evening to you, sir. Thank you so much for your time. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Thank you very much, Chief. We're grateful that you made time to speak with us. To start with, our commiserations and condolences to you and the entirety of the family, the traditional family, over the passing of the Yana. First of all, how are you taking the news of his passing, and how did that come to you when you heard it?
Okay, thank you for the opportunity to now express our feelings about the demise of our Lord, the King of Dabgon. May his soul rest in peace. I think it was not a good news, very bad, very weakened, and Dabgon and Yendi are very silent. Businesses were halt, nothing is happening. Everybody is seated quietly, crossed hands and fingers, as we look up to the traditional authorities to have had our in lay perfectly. So I think today it's all about the king. It's all about the king. Everywhere, TV station, markets, everywhere, farmers didn't go to farm, business people didn't go to their places. Everything is a standstill now.
We also know that, personally, as the Chief Zintohina, you have some background and, good knowledge about the Dabgon Kingdom. Share with us, for those who may not know how important they are when it comes to Ghana's traditional setting, give us a brief history about the Dabgon people.
Is it the Dabgon or about the king?
About the Dabgon itself, and then we can narrow it down to the powerful role that the king played.
Yeah, Dabgon is a bigger kingdom with so many significances attached to it. And when we talk about Dabgon, we are talking about the kingship. I will tell you that every Yana is a son of a former Yana. So when you see a Yana, you must know that the father was a Yana. Dabgon, by tradition, if your father was never a Yana, there's no way that you can become one. So the late Na Abukari Mahama II, his father was a Yana. His great grandfather was called Na Andane. He was also a Yana. So Na Andane Jelong gave birth to Na Mahama, and then Na Mahama gave birth to the current, the one we've just lost. So that is him that we lost. Then we've lost a precious person. In fact, a golden king. He was a unifier. In fact, he has done so much for Dabgon. And I think he's the first Yana to have built a new palace. And unfortunately, he didn't have a taste of the house before he died or he passed on. So I think people are crying, not necessarily because we have lost him, but people are crying because of the vision that he has for Dabgon, the good feelings that he has for his people. And it's like everything is coming, going back to square one. So actually, Dabgon has lost an asset, a serious one, of course, and it's a direct blow to the faces of Dabgon people. That's why 3 days, 2 days now, Dabgon, we can't stop crying.
Wow.
So I don't think, for me as a historian, I can only speak on a section or a topic given to me. But if we say we have to discuss Dabgon, I think Dabgon, we have a custodian, those who are responsible for certain areas that I may not be permitted to speak on.
Right. And
so...
And the bit you've given us is actually quite substantive. And we also want to know how you describe the fact that almost all the statements we've seen and the people we've already spoken to talk about how Na Mahama Abukari II was a man of peace, a man of innovation, someone who wanted to see development for his people and started it. Unfortunately, like fate would have it, he has ended his journey and has joined our ancestors. But how would the constituents remember him? I mean, before he became the Yana, we're told that it wasn't easy at all. But having become Yana, how did he seek to transform, the people and the area that he was overlord of?
Before he became Yana, the one was in crisis. We haven't that crisis between the Abudus and the Andanis. In Dabgon, the Great Kings are now narrowed. The Great Kings are narrowed into two, the Abudus and the Andanis. So he was from the Andani lineage. So we're having two regents. The Abudus was having their regent, and the Andanis was also having their regent. And he was the senior chief by then. So in the wisdom of the former president, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, he saw that because he's an elderly person, why not deny both regents and then bring the senior one? Of course, that was his second, he was at Savulgo, and that was his second chieftaincy that he was enjoying there. Because first he was enskined as Nkono Lana, and that was somewhere in 92, 93. So he spent so much years there. And if you are a chief, definitely you must have certain experiences. There are certain issues that you might come across, and that will build and boost up your experience in terms of governance and ruling. So he was a chief for Kunkuno, having spent some time there over 15, 14 years. Then he came to Savulgo. He was enskined as chief of Savulgo in 2014. So in 2019, when the president was saying that he's going to make sure that the Gombe smoke P5, when they look around, then he was the senior most person among the Abu and Andani's family. Are you with me?
I am with you, and I'm following, sir.
Yes. So he was a senior chief. Both Andani and Abu, nobody was older than him by then. And he was, when they say the Great King, if you are a chief of Savulgo, if you are a chief of Karga and Miao, you are qualified to become the king of Dabgon. You see that? So by then, all facets were favoring him because he was the senior most chief. At the same time, Myong didn't have a chief, Karga too didn't have a chief. So he was lucky to be a son of Yana, like I told you before. Every Yana is a son of a former Yana.
Yes. So
because of that factor, he was elevated above all other people. And he, being the grandfather to both regents, was super qualified. So it was so supersonical that, this man is the best.
Right.
So out of merit, he was enskined as Yana on the 19th of January 2019. So that's why he became a chief. And we have not regretted some of his legacies. Put the Bewa Palace aside, the ongoing Bewa Palace aside. Yana, the late, has sponsored a young student. Today, they are professional lawyers. He sponsored them. When he became Yana, I think that was the first time we've seen that. Yana used his pocket money and sponsored people, not his family members, not his grandchildren, not his dear children. People who were doing well.
His constituent.
Wow. A brilliant Balidi student. So he sponsored them, and then they went to university and they did law. Wow. Today they are out. And then he also sponsored medical doctors. I mean, when I say medical doctor, not one badge. First badge, second badge, and third badge. So today, these young guys are professional doctors under the courtesy or by the grace of who? the late Yana.
Wow.
So
he
certainly the sort of vision he was having for his people.
Absolutely. Yeah. We definitely will be remembering him, and we pray that the legacy he has started, or the good works he has begun, we will be able to see it come to full fruition. Thank you so much for speaking to us this evening.
And I think on Thursday, are you with me?
Yes.
On Thursday, the funeral arrangement will start.
Okay.
So on Thursday, we have something we call ball lobble. You understand?
Which will be the beginning of the funeral?
Yes.
Okay.
On Thursday it will start, and then the traditional people will tell the way forward.
Okay.
After that, what will happen? So if all things being equal, on Thursday we can be able to tell what will be next on the agenda.
Okay. Chief Zing Tohilina, thank you so much for your time this evening.
I thank you, Ikwa.
And he's the public relations officer of the Gukwe Na Palace. He himself is the chief of Tamale and a Dabgon historian, giving us some traditional perspectives of this particular subject. This is 3 FM. You're listening to Hot Edition on 92.7. That's the dial. My name is Martin Isiedodati. Stay with us. When we return, we'll be coming back to the capital and dig deep into that big story that broke over the weekend and in the early hours of today, talking about the arrest and detention of Denis Aboagye, who is a member of the New Patriotic Party, the party in opposition, and then also the reason why he is being investigated is because of some 55 million Ghana cedis that is said to have either been stolen, misappropriated, or used wrongly, and that has caused some financial loss to the state. We'll dig into it when we return from this break. Stay with us.
Screening of the FIFA World Cup final on a giant screen. It's more than football. It's networking, fun, and unforgettable vibes. Hey, 19 July 2026. Time is 3 p.m. Location is Nexus 9 Lounge and Spaces, East Legon. Play and connect. Play, connect, and create. Don't hear about it. Be there. Content creators and football lovers, are you ready? Creator Cycles is back with Play and Connect 3.0. The Creator Cup
edition with me, Martin Isiedodati. Let's go on to some other stories this evening. And officials of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, are currently interrogating Denis Aboagye as part of investigations into allegations of financial and procurement-related irregularities estimated to cost some 55 million Ghana cedis during his tenure as Executive Secretary of the Inter-Ministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization. After nearly 48 hours of his arrest and detention, lawyers are yet to secure bail for him, a situation the New Patriotic Party has described as a tool to intimidate and silence members of the opposition. Christian Yali is a man who's been following this particular beat for us. He's been at the premises of EOCO right from the morning when the party supporters of the New Patriotic Party started massing up there. We were also told that a lawyer who was working to secure bail for Denis Aboagye was expected at the EOCO premises to conclude those processes. As regards to whether that has been done, we are unable to tell for now. But when we connect to our correspondent, Christian Yali, he should be able to tell us what exactly has gone on since morning when the party faithful started massing up there. Christian Yali has joined us. Christian, thank you for your time. We know that prior to midday, you were at the premises of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO. Between then and now, what exactly are the highlights of what has gone on so far?
It's been members, supporters, and top officials of the New Patriotic Party who have been coming here from time to time to seek to negotiate with the bosses at EOCO for Denis Aboagye to be released. In fact, around midday thereabouts, one major highlight was accusations by the protesters who were complaining that the police officials here had sprayed pepper. In fact, there were about two of the protesters I saw myself who had to be assisted with water to cleanse their eyes before they could manage to walk to a better place to take care of themselves. That brought some almost near fisticuffs between the protesters and the police officers. For the protesters, it had been a calm situation here, so there was no need attempting to pepper spray them. Now, apart from that, later we saw executives of the NPP led by the General Secretary, Justin Kodia Frimpong, as well as the national organizer, Henry Nana Aboagye. Also, MP, one of the MPs, about two of them actually, Samia Uku and Gloria Owusu, the Trobo MP, were here. Even before that, I had seen the MP for Wejagbawe, Jerry Ahmed Shaib. All of them went inside before we had indications or received indications that the lawyer for Denis Aboagye, Samuel Atachia, had already initiated the process of securing bail for him, and I had cited him, but he wouldn't want to speak to me at the time, and he went back inside. Around 2-3 p.m., Justin Frimpong Kodia came out of the premises of EOCO, and in an interview with me indicated that, see, they've seen what the NDC is doing, and by extent, hiding behind the security and investigative agencies to intimidate their members. In fact, JFK, as it's popularly called, indicated that government of the day is undertaking what he terms as public trial of, persons who are suspected to have engaged in any form of malfeasance, misappropriation, or any corruption-related activity. Now, he made the case strongly that they are going to continue to press. As of around 3 p.m., when I spoke with him, he indicated that there hadn't been even an interrogation to start the process of securing bail for Denis Aboagye. Shortly after that, around 4 p.m., just a while ago, I picked indications from Henry Nana Aboagye, who is currently inside with the officials, that the interrogation or interrogative process was about to begin. So the understanding, Martin, all things being equal, is that as of now, inside, we are just outside, but inside, officials of EOCO have begun interrogating Denis Aboagye. And then as we inch closer to the 48-hour mark, it is expected that, all things being equal, he would be granted bail. That is what the Constitution says. After 48 or within the 48-hour period, either the security agency or investigative agency involved grants the suspect who's been arrested bail, or they proceed to go to the court to continue with the process from there. For the NPP members and the executive and the top officials who have come here, it is one thing they want: either he is released immediately or granted bail, and then they can take it over from there. In fact, in that earlier interview, Martin, JFK had indicated that over the last 1 year, the issue under investigation, the 55 million cedi misappropriation allegedly, which is being investigated because, Dennis used to be the executive secretary at the Interministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization. He has been more or less cooperating with them over the last 1 year. EOCO has been sending invitations, and he always, obeys the invitations and comes to their premises to be interrogated. So they do not understand why EOCO chose the manner in which they arrested him to bring him to their custody. But we are still here waiting to see what really would be the situation. But right now, all the top guys in the New Patriotic Party, especially some of the lawyers, are inside, and the understanding is that there is some interrogation ongoing to more or less, speed up the process to get him a bail tonight, possibly.
Right, and it's a good summation of what has gone on since morning that you've given us. So just to summarize, 1, Miracles is still in the EOCO custody. 2, at least now he's had access to his lawyers who are there, and some top top members of the New Patriotic Party have had access to him and are with him in the EOCO premises, and hopefully by close of day, we don't know up until when, but by close of day, we are expecting that by constitution, Miracles should be released. Would I be right in this?
Martin, you are right. You are right. In fact, in that earlier interview with Justin Kodia-Frimpong, he indicated that until this morning, around 10 a.m., 11 a.m. thereabouts, he hadn't been granted access, or his lawyers or legal counsel had not had access to him, which means that was inching closer to almost 2 days after his arrest, of not getting legal counsel and not even given the chance to even get access to the family, as it were. But just around midday, thereabout midday, I saw Samuel Atachia here. In fact, he had an interview with more or less like an informal conversation with a blogger, and had indicated that yes, he's been able to get access to the man, Denis Aboagye. So that is right. Everything that you just put up as a summation of what has happened is true. And so right now, we know that members of the top officials or executives of the New Patriotic Party have had access. They are inside right now, negotiating on engaging in the interrogation process, so that after everything is done and conditions are met, EOCO would then proceed to grant him bail, and he would be released. That is what we are expecting. But if that is not also possible, because Martin earlier per was some of the details I picked on the ground and eavesdropping, I realized that some officials were moving up and down. The indication was that they were cross-checking and trying to get some documentation here and there to facilitate his bail or his release from custody.
Right. Maybe finally and briefly, the other supporters who had gathered there in the morning, are they still there, or they've dispersed?
The numbers have reduced, but there are still some hundreds of them who are still here waiting, and anticipation keeps building in that regard. Right.
Christian Yali, thank you very much for doing a yeoman's job. He's a man following the arrest and detention of Denis Aboagye, who is still in EOCO custody. What we are told is that now, or the latest regarding that arrest or detention, is that he's had access to his lawyers. Top leaders of the New Patriotic Party are also within the premises of EOCO, and so they have spoken to Miracles. And what is expected is that hopefully after the current ongoing interrogation by EOCO officials, and the insider information we are getting is that hopefully by close of day today, he should be released. If he is, we would update you certainly in our subsequent bulletins. But you heard Christian Yali tell us about his interview with JFK, who is Justin Frimpong Kodia, who is the current General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, who also expressed some misgivings about the arrest. Let's listen to that interaction.
In 2028. But when the table stands, appointees of this government should be very worried. Thank you.
So do we know his whereabouts now, and update on bail conditions?
Well, as it stands now, the even interrogation has not started. Interrogation has not even started. From Saturday that he was detained up to date, there has not been any interrogation. So the question you ask yourself, then what was the purpose? What was the need of keeping him in custody from Saturday to today? What are they seeking to achieve? What are they seeking to achieve? And the sad thing is, all issues that are happening, all the arbitrary arrest, detention is happening at EOCO. Where are the other state institutions? Where are other state institutions? You keep a man from Saturday evening. You deny him access to his lawyers. And today is Monday. Very soon the 48 hours will elapse. Then we will take the next lap. He's the one keeping him.
They issued a statement earlier that they will grant him bail.
At what time? Did they indicate the time they were going to grant him bail? It's a shame. Well, anyone can make any allegations.
So that is Justin Kodia Frimpong, General Secretary, the New Patriotic Party, in that interaction with my colleague Christian Yali. And that was earlier in the day, but the latest is that now he, Justin Kodia Frimpong, and other leaders of the New Patriotic Party and lawyers have had access to Miracles Aboagye. So they definitely are there to observe the interrogation between EOCO officials and Denis Miracles Aboagye. So if any updates does come up, I'll certainly, or our various platforms, both social media and conventional media, will update you on that. This is 3FM 92.7. We are shifting our attention to the Ashanti region, but staying in the camp of the New Patriotic Party, because over the weekend there was an election of constituency level candidates. They were seeking to fill those slots, and it got marred at some point. So the NPP and its constituency executive elections were marred by pockets of disturbances over the weekend, with incidents of violence, disruptions, and heightened security concerns reported at some polling centers. One of the most talked about incidents happened in Ifija Setre East, where social media activist and politician Okatechi Frifa was apprehended after allegedly attempting to disrupt the electoral process. In Bantama, voting was suspended on Saturday following disturbances that forced Electoral Commission officials to withdraw from the exercise. The election, however, resumed and was successfully concluded on Sunday. Let's speak to our Northern Sector Bureau Chief, William Evansinkum, who's joined us for a quick update. So, William, thank you for your time. Let's start from Ifija Setre East. How has that election concluded?
Well, so they were able to continue with their side despite earlier violence that preceded the whole process. They were able to complete it and elect constituency executives. I can tell you that there's relative calm as far as that particular constituency is concerned. However, social media activist Okatechi Frifa is still receiving treatment. Early on, he was admitted at the Mampong Hospital under police guard. But as I speak to you now, he has been transferred to Covanoti Teaching Hospital to receive further treatment. Martin.
We saw a video of him in handcuffs, with blood stains around the neck of the shirt that he was wearing. We also saw another video. I'm sure that one was prior to his arrest. But what exactly led to the injuries he sustained, and what kind of injuries are we talking about?
Well, so prior to the exercise beginning on Saturday, two constituencies, had been flagged because of court injunction. That was Ifija Setre East constituency and Asante Akem Central. But it's proceeded. I'm talking about the SI proceeded. Well, my earlier checks revealed that the injunction had expired, so the constituency election committee had that liberty to run the election. But then, in the case of Ifija Setre East, just some few hours to the election, I had a report that Okatechi came to the polling center to present another injunction stating that that particular process had been flagged in respect of court injunctions. So for that matter, the exercise shouldn't continue. But that was when he also had some level of opposition from other interest parties. And so it degenerated at a point in time. The police had to come in to quell what would have been an ugly situation. But in the midst of that crossfire, the police was also confronted. That is allegedly confronted by Okatechi Frifa. And then there was some level of fisticuffs between some policemen and then supporters of Okatechi Frifa, leading to his arrest.
And have we heard anything from party officials in the region regarding these developments?
I can reveal to you that there has been some meetings. And now the accusing fingers are being pointed to the Mavis Nkasa Bodu's father, who happens to be a chief in the Ashanti region, Nkasa Bodu. And I understand the party hierarchy is trying to talk to him so that he will be able to at least engage the police, so Okateche FIFA will have his freedom walk. That is what we are hearing. I cannot independently verify as to what influence he has as far as this particular case is concerned, because from the report I gathered from East constituency, there was an attack on the police, and that is where the matter seems to be very complicated. So we don't know how it is going to turn out, but I can tell you that there has been some level of engagement with the camp of the Member of Parliament, Mrs. Nkasa Bodu, to see how best they can resolve this particular matter out of the court, possibly.
Right, and finally, we know that there are 47 constituencies in the Ashanti region. Based on the reports we've had, 2 or 3 of them recorded these kinds of skirmishes and, security breaches were reported. How about the remaining constituencies? Did they all have a successful and peaceful election?
Well, so again, there are certain constituencies. There are certain constituencies that were unable to go through the exercise, and this morning the leadership of the party issued a statement detailing why elections could not happen in this country. For that matter, there's going to be some VVS, especially in some of the constituencies that had issues. So, for instance, constituencies like Achumampunia and then Obuasi West were unable to have their elections. Then we also understand that there's going to be a review of election activities, and here we are talking about Efija East constituency, which we're talking about, then Adanse Asokwa Bantama and Asante Achim Central. So these constituencies will have their election reviewed. What form is going to take? Well, that one hasn't been whether there's going to be a rerun or what action is going to be taken on these concerns, because of the fact that there were some skirmishes. Well, we still wait on the leadership of the party to reveal that to us.
William, thank you so much for all these updates. William Evans Inkum is our Northern Sector Bureau Chief, updating us on the weekend's constituency-level elections organized by the New Patriotic Party. A number of constituencies recorded unfortunate skirmishes. Some turned violent, others were suspended briefly and continued the next day. But at least what we do know is that some persons were arrested and investigations are ongoing, one of them being Okateche FIFA. And on the back of that, we bring the bulletin to an end. Thank you very much for listening. My name is Martin Esiedudate. Have a good evening.